Good morning. It's a beautiful morning today. We're in the middle of a drought, about 3 months. We haven't had any significant rain, so praying for rain. Well, once again, we're together and we're talking about the damage that childhood sexual abuse does to a person. And today I was supposed to talk about my mom, my precious mom. Mom had a mental illness, and it was called paranoid schizophrenia. I knew at a very young age that she just wasn't right. She was very odd, very scary, but there was a side of her that was beautiful. She could be so sweet and so kind and loving, but there was this other side that was very, very scary. And I knew the mood she was in by her eyes. I always watched her eyes. If there was a blankness to her eyes, I knew it was not going to be a good day. Looking back at pictures when I was first born, the blankness was there then too. So living with someone mentally ill is very, very difficult. So on a typical day with Mom, she was talking to herself. She was talking to invisible people that were around her, especially when she did the dishes. I would be sitting in the tan rocking chair in the living room, and she was in the kitchen just right around the corner. There was a door there, so maybe 8 feet, 10 feet away from me, and she would begin talking softly, and it would get louder, louder, louder until she was talking very, very loud. And it upset me so much. I would say, "Mom, are you talking to me?" And she'd say, "No, I'm just singing." And she would start singing. And a few minutes later, she would start talking to the invisible people again. And this went on every single day. I hated when she would do dishes because I knew that that was going to be coming. If my dad was sitting there, he'd wink at me like, "There goes Mom. There she goes again." And she taught me at a very early age, don't trust anybody. There's nobody that you can trust. Her idea of safety was to have 3 or 4 locks on the doors because people were trying to break in. She felt people were peeking through the windows, and she was always looking through the windows to see if she could see them. She told me that they were watching us through the heat vents, and they could see us. And she taught me that people were listening in on my phone calls, so make them short. I loved her, but I was very scared of her. Sometimes she would hit me, and I just never knew what direction her day was going to take. I remember when I was a little girl, my life is divided up into 2 houses. The first 5 years I was in the Colfax house, and that was when I was 5 years and under. And then I was in the Oliver house when I was 5 and over. So my memories are kind of broken down into those 2 houses. And in the first house, she set up an easel with flannel on it, and she put little figures from the Bible on that flannel. And she said she was practicing to teach Sunday school the next day. And I loved that. I think it was Noah's Ark with all the different animals. Um, she had her Bible, and she read her little Bible. And I love that part of her. But that's the only memory I have of something like that. The main memory I have of Mom, and it's not a good one, was of her getting her bucket of warm water and Tide detergent and mixing up the solution, and she would wash the walls of the house, both houses, the ceilings, the floorboards, the carpeting, everything she needed to wash over and over and over again. And then she would wash us, her and me. She would get out the syringe and give herself enemas, and then me. I remember running and running away from her. I remember hiding under the bed. I stopped eating because I think in my little mind, I thought if I don't eat, then I won't have to go to the bathroom. She took me to Dr. Papermaster, and he said she'll eat when she's hungry, but he didn't know what was going on. Nobody did, except for God. He knew, and I know he was always with me. I think the saddest thing that came to me yesterday, and it made me cry, was sitting in that tan rocking chair and watching my mom at the stove cooking a meal. And I was so lonesome for her. And I said, "Mom, will you pick me up and hold me?" And she said, "No, you're too heavy now. My back bothers me. I can't pick you up." I was probably about 5. And then I thought, "Mom," and I said this, "Mom, will you sit with me and hold me when you're done?" But she never did. I don't ever remember her just sitting and holding me and loving me. Her mind was so focused on cleaning, cooking. She worked her job, and the invisible people, that's where she was at. And I didn't get the love that I needed from a mom and dad, and I longed for that. When Mom died, a man came up to me, and I didn't know him, and he said, "I want to tell you something. Your mom was the most wonderful, beautiful person I ever met in my whole life." And he saw the good side. He saw her at work, and that was a beautiful person. But she didn't reveal that side of her away from the house. The bad side always came out at home, and that's when Dad and I saw her. That's when I turned to animals for my love. In my book, Jagger's Eyes, talks about that. I believe that God poured himself into animals. He would bring me little baby squirrels for me to hold and feed and mend and release. And they would always come back to me. He would bring a little kitten into my yard, a lost little kitten. And that kitten radiated love that I needed so badly. All through my life, if there was an open window in my apartment, he would send a couple of kittens through that window that I was supposed to take care of. And they loved me. And that's where I felt love. And I'm very thankful for that. This book goes into detail of all the animals that rescued me. But it was God that rescued me. And I'm building a foundation right now of what happened as a child that led me to having so many after effects of sexual abuse. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, my mom sexually abused me too. Clearly remember. But I love her. She was pretty easy to forgive compared to my dad, because I knew that she couldn't help it. That mental illness just took a hold of her. And when I think of Mom, I love her deeply. So, if you lived with a parent that was mentally ill, I'll say a prayer for you, because I know how hard it was. And as we continue through the videos, I'll be letting you know that I'm so good now. I'm so, so good. And God has removed 95% of the negative after effects. And I'm the happiest I've ever been in my whole life right now. And I look forward to tomorrow. I don't have regrets. I've just done the best I could. And I look forward to what God will want me to do in the future. I want to thank you for everyone that's come and looked at my videos and supported me. Please continue to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. God bless.